students, welcome to the online session or the subject of structural analysis. This subject of structural analysis is mainly for the student of structural engineering. Basically, in design of any kind of a structure, first of all, analysis is required to be done. If the analysis of the structure is done properly, then the design of the structure can be done properly. So basically, we can say that structural analysis is very important subject for the structural engineering students. So let's start with this important subject of structural analysis. So 3, 2, 1. Let's start. Hello students, welcome to the online session for the subject of structural analysis. Today, we are starting with a new chapter. The name of the chapter is, you can see over here, that direct and bending stress. Okay, this is the first session for the new chapter. Okay, so let's start with our session. Basically, the content that we are going to discuss is introduction, the stresses, then combined stresses we are also going to discuss, then combined bending and direct stress of a stocky strut we are going to discuss that, and after that the definitions we are going to discuss over here. Okay, so let's start with today's session. So first of all, let's discuss this introduction. So whenever a body is subjected to any kind of an axial tension or compression, the direct stress come into the action. We can say that direct stress will come into the play at every section of our body. Whenever a structure is under any kind of a tension or a compression which is having an axial property, then the direct stress will come into an action. We also know that whenever a body is subjected to bending moment, a bending moment is nothing but that will be causing the bending stress onto the body. So whenever a bending stress, we can say that a bending moment is acting on a structure, at that time the bending stress will come into an action. Okay, a later consideration will show that since both this stress acts normal to the cross section, therefore the two stresses may be algebraically added so that we can get the resultant stresses. Whatever this stress that we are getting, if we will be adding them algebraically, then we will be getting the resultant stress. Okay. After that, let's discuss the stress. So every material is elastic in nature. That is why whenever some external force is acting onto a body, it will undergo deformation. Okay. Considering the elastic properties, whenever the structure will be under a load, it will be having some deformation. But if it is in elastic limit, after we can say that after the load is undergone, means after the load is being removed, at that time the structure will try to come under its original state, means it will be leaving the deformation. Okay. As the bodies undergo the deformation, its molecule set up some resistance to the deformation. Okay, now let's discuss the basic definitions. The basic definitions of the stress we will be discussing. Ultimately, the resistance per unit area to the deformation is nothing but a stress. Means it is denoted by sigma, you can see over here, and it is nothing but P by A. Means the applied load upon the cross sectional area on which the load is being applied. So ultimately we can say that the stress is a resistance. It is a resistance per unit area of the applied force with the deformation. Okay. We can say that in this formula, you can see over here this formula is given. What are they? Let's discuss. Ultimately, P over here is the load or the force that is acting onto the body. Okay, whatever the load that is being acting onto the body will be designated by P. After that, A is the cross sectional area of the body over which this P load will be acting onto it. In SI system, the unit of the stress is Pascal, and we all know that 1 Pascal is equal to 1 Newton per meter square. Okay, so this is the thing. Now let's discuss the combined stress. We have studied a number of separate situations, that is tension, compression, direct bending, torsion, then pressure in cylinders and spheres. These are all the different type of situations that we have discussed in past. In order to find the combined effect, we have to look at an element of a material at a particular location where both the effects determine the stresses. Okay, we have to locate, or we have to look out at a particular element, at a material at which both the effects will be determining the final stress. We calculate the stress as though they occurred separately, and combining them we will be finding the overall effect, and this overall effect will be designated by the principal stress. Means whatever the stresses that are acting onto the material, if we are combining all the stresses and we are finding, we can say that the resultant that we are getting will be termed as the principal stresses. Okay, we are just combining all the stresses, either addition or multiplication, but finally what we are getting is the principal stress. You can see over here we have a cantilever beam. Okay, you can see that there is a cantilever beam on which at the projected end the concentrated load is applied, and by which there will be the tension at the top and there will be the compression at the bottom. Okay, if we will be having some another beam which is being connected to this projection at an orthogonal degree, means if some extra beam is being connected to this beam at the far end and its direction will be perpendicular. If it is the direction is perpendicular, then whenever the load will be acting onto it, definitely at the first beam the bending will be taking place, but at the second beam the torsion will be going to take place. Okay, so these are the things. After that we can see over here that we have a phone which is on which the load is being applied, and because of this the bending has taken place. You can see a bridge over here. A bridge is being displayed over here. You can see that there is a tension in the struts. The connecting member, you can see the tension in vertical members, the struts over here, you can see that there is a tension. But in horizontal members, the curvature members, curved members and other things, there the compression will be going to take place. Obviously, it will be at the bottom of the structure. So, at the bottom the compression is being taken. So, here we have a bridge, it is a truss bridge on which the vertical truss we will be having a tension, and to other members we will be having the compression. Okay. Now, here we have structures in the lab where we are applying the load experimentally and we are finding the bending stress onto the structure. Okay, you can see a compression testing machine over here. You can see a universal testing machine over here on which the load is being applied gradually. At the same time, the load is being also applied to some eccentricity, because of which we will be getting some bending stress onto our structure. So, that will be noted in the graph which is being shown in the computer, which is being connected with the universal testing machine. Okay. So, based on that we can also come to know about what is deflection that has taken place. Okay. So, these are all the equipments that are there in the laboratories while we are performing the experiments on the direct and the bending stress. Okay. Now, combined bending and direct on the stocky strut. So consider a short column. We can see that there we have considered a short column like this over here of a rectangular cross section. Okay, in the previous slide, in the next slide, sorry, I have make you see that figure. The column carries an axial compressive load of P together with the bending moment M. You can see over here. There is at the section at the second member, you can see that there is a P, that is the compressive force P, and at the moment M, that is being also taking place at that point only. Okay, so yes, the compressive load P together with the moment M is being acting onto the structure. At some section, at we can say that about the centroidal axis X. So this all P load and M, the moment, will be acting at the center, means at the centroid of this column. You can see over here that we have a column which is having the width B and height H. Okay, and H by 2 we are having the centroid. Okay, at the center we are having the load, compressive load P, and we are also having the bending moment M, because of which the stress will be generated at the top portion also and at the bottom portion also. At the top portion we will be having minus P by A, and at the bottom section we will be having minus P by A. After that we will be also having the bending moment diagram. There we will be having the bending moment of minus H upon 2L at the top also and at the bottom also. So these are all the moments that we have. Okay. Now let's discuss further. So the area of the column will be A, and Lx is the second moment of inertia of the area about the location Cx, centroidal x. If Px alone, the average longitudinal stress over the section will be minus P by. So you can see over here figure that if P is only acting, then ultimate the stress will be minus P by A, and at the bottom also it will be minus P by A. So yes, minus P by A will be the stress. But you can see over here that we have the bending moment. So whenever the moment is being acting, and because of that the moment bending stress will be also going to take place. That will be equal to minus M by 2 into H by L, and yes, at the top also and at the bottom also. So these are the things. After that, the stress being compressive, if a couple M acts alone and if the material remains elastic, then the longitudinal stress in any fiber at any distance will be equal to minus P by minus M by upon I. Okay, so M by I is the stress, bending stress that will be acting onto the structure. Further modifying, further detailing this equation, our final equation will be equal to sigma max is equal to minus P by A minus M into H by 2 into I. I will be equal to, means it is ultimately M by Z. Okay, so Z is equal to I by Y, and here I by Y, here Y is equal to H by 2. So that is the thing. So M into H by 2 will be the thing. Okay. Clearly, the greatest compressive stress occur in the upper extreme fiber and has the value. So you can see over here the figure below that we have the combined bending and the thrust onto the figure. So ultimately it will be minus P by A minus M into H upon 2Ix at the topmost section, and at the center we will be having minus P by A because it is only at the center it is only having the axial load, and again at the bottom there will be minus P by plus M into H upon 2Ix. Okay. So similar thing you can see over here also. It will be again minus P by minus h by m into h upon 2ix. At the bottom, we will be having minus p by a plus m up into h upon 2ix. Okay. So this is how the bending stress and the shear stress is being taken. Now let's discuss the eccentric loading. What is the eccentric loading? A load whose line of action does not coincide with the axis of the column or a strut, then such kind of thing or such kind of load is termed as the eccentric load. We can have an example of this. A bucket full of water that is being carried by a person in his hand, then in addition to his carrying bucket, he also to lean or bend to other side, so that to counteract the possibility of his falling. Thus we say that he is subjected to the direct load due to the weight of the bucket and moment of eccentricity. So whenever a person is being taking a bucket, he will be slightly bent towards the other side. So that means, that says that that person is under the direct load due to the heavy weight of the bucket, and the moment of eccentricity will be also acting onto it, and that will be we can say that resisted by slight bending. So it is a kind of an example for the eccentric load. Okay, you can see a beam over here which is being having an eccentric load. So this is the figure which is we have got from an ANSYS. There you can see the stresses at the different sections, at different locations. We will be having different stresses at the different location. So the red one is the highest one, and slowly it will be reducing. So yes, this is how the bending stress is being taking place in a beam. Okay. So we are keeping up to this only. Thank you for attending the session. See you in the next session. So here we are ending our session. Hope you have liked the session. We have discussed each and every topic in brief and also in detail. We have discussed each and every topic's practical application also. So thank you for attending the session, and if you have any kind of a doubt, if you have any kind of a query, then you can send me your doubts and queries in mail. My mail is in my YouTube channel. Do check into my YouTube channel, like it, share it, and again thank you for attending this session. See you in the next session. Thank you.